Yeah. We are live on Oz Profit Investment Room. Bring the big names and we have the big fun. It is we got I didn't get the memo or the memo. Kush has got his wine shirt on. If you're not, go and check us out on YouTube and check that out. But it's going to be a huge session because we're going to be unpacking the person with the 8-figure property. I didn't even realize he had the 8-figure property portfolio, but we should have led with that, Kush. But turning problems into millions is a great headline as well. But I'm excited to unpack the lessons and the backstory because Ricky and Danny Austin didn't want us to talk about that. So I gave him a shout out. Kush, how are you going? What's happening?
Very good, mate. Been well. And what's happening? Deals, hopefully, fingers crossed, should get something tomorrow. So, yeah.
Something tomorrow. Wow. Jeez,
hopefully.
This is a scoop. This is the first time exclusive on Oz Property, the deal for Kush. So no, it's going to be good. We're going to talk about locations, and he's asked me to bring up realestate.com. So I'm excited to see where he takes us. But Michael, how are you going as well, man? What's happening? You always got something.
Good, man. Yeah, got a few deals on the go, a few offers out, and just trying to close 1 or 2 more deals before the end of the year. That's the goal.
Sorry, I muted myself because I muted myself. I wasn't. So that's exciting. Like as they do like to say, if you're not making offers, you're not making money. So it doesn't always mean that offer is going to make you money. So, but I think that's some of the stuff that Kush will not scare. He'll share that Halloween was last couple of weeks ago. So that's why we're scary. But no, it is going to be huge. So we'll talk through, okay, what is the mindset to get to that as well? And one of the more interesting things that Kush just touched on is it's immaterial that he has that portfolio and he's going to share, well, what's next? Because what's important for him is that travel. He's got the Hawaiian shirt on, the Hawaiian vibes happening. He hasn't got the layer yet, but maybe before the show, there is time. So you're going to reveal how you pick the location as well. Maybe the location doesn't actually matter that much. I think it doesn't, but maybe I want to hear from you.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. No, you're supposed to. That's all right. You're all good. So I want to say, guys, this is not financial advice, not taking into account your personal needs. If I can get this up, disclaimer. It is general nature. So I showed this at the beginning and we don't have to show it 18 times. So go and speak to your financial advisors, seek independent legal and tax advice as well to base it on your circumstances. But now we got that out of the way. So for those who haven't been to an Australian real estate meetup, and I think they're on the trivia now. Ricky's he's probably at Lithgow now. He ended on train to Parramatta. I don't know how he got there, but now he's on the way to Lithgow apparently. So he took the wrong train. But for those who haven't seen Kush floating around, come to one of those meetups. He's always happy to have a conversation, save me from another conversation. You've done 20 years in shipping and 4 years in Oz property investing portfolio journey. You've been able to build 12 flips, 5 and 6 on the go, 2 subbies or subdivisions, double-digit portfolio and over 8 figures in assets. So, mate, 4 years. What brought you to Australia to start off with? And then I want to let Michael ask a question as well.
Yeah. So look, I had spent quite a bit of time out at sea. So I was sailing on the ships, was a captain at some point. Then went to Singapore. I spent about 7.5 years in Singapore. And after 7 years, you have the 7-year itch. And I came to Australia first in 2019 on a secondment for 3 months and then fell in love with Sydney. And luckily, the company that I was working with, or still working with, they got me here in Australia. And I came to Australia in Jan 2020. I don't have any of the struggles to find a job or think about the residency or any of those struggles. Thankfully, I never had to go through that. But yeah, Jan of 2020, just before COVID, I moved myself from Singapore and landed here permanently.
There you go. Now, Michael, where do we go from there? What do you want to ask from that? Because you probably know.
Well, I just want to say that one of the things that drew me towards Kush was because he, he's very worldly, obviously, but he's also living that wanderer's dream, which I think is quite romantic. You know what I mean? He's living the life, man. He's living the life, and he's making money along the way, which I think is so fantastic. And that's one of the reasons why, I I think we kind of built that kind of friendship because he's got a lot of things to share from his experience. But I guess another reason is because we're both active in Brisbane and we share information with each other, which is always kind of fun. So yeah, Kush, tell us where how did you get into property after you arrived in Sydney? Did you hit the ground running, or like what was the inspiration behind it? Was it just like a natural kind of flow, or what was it like?
Actually, it's quite a irony. I was not actually looking for property. So I came from a very low tax environment, which is Singapore. So typically it would be 15-20%. And then I landed myself in a very high tax environment, paying top dollars, right? So during COVID, I had a lot of time to see that what's the best strategy to reduce your tax. And I was going through heaps of articles, YouTube and all, and everything is about negative gearing, negative gearing. This is how you get your money back from ATO. I'm like, what the hell is negative gearing? And that piqued my interest in terms of property. Then I started learning a bit more about property, how Australia functions and what you do, what is what. Uh, that's how my interest in property grew, and I had about like I did not take my first step till probably August of 2021. So did a whole good year of deep diving and all. And also the first property was quite by chance. Actually, what happened is I met my partner during COVID, and then we decided to move in. And after that, we went to CVA to open a joint account, which is normal. And she got stopped by the broker at the bank, and she had an apartment, which we always refer to as the bread starter, because it started with that, because there was some equity in the apartment. We did not have money. So the broker was like, you can take out the equity, you can refinance, you can do this. And I'm like, how does this even work? So so understood the concept of equity, understood that we can actually go and start looking for property, buy property and all of that, and invest in property. And the initial thought was like, we would buy something in Sydney to live. And then when we actually went out to the market, we realized that no matter what I buy and how much deposit we do, we'll still have a mortgage of 1 to 1.2 just as mortgage. And I would assume I was doing all my calcs on 5% interest rate for a longer period of time. I wasn't doing the 3% shit that was there during COVID. So I was taking 5%. So I'm like, I have to pay 50,000 after tax money just for the interest alone. And then there are council, water, and all of that. So all in all, I am probably up for 55, 56 grand, which is like $1,000 a week. And I can live in the same place for probably at that time was $600 a week. I'm like, there has to be a better way. So that's when I decided that rent investing is the way, and I started looking for properties to invest rather than to live in. So that's how it all started.
Can I challenge you a little bit there, though? Because we often hear this thing, it's rent money is dead money, Kush. It's like, no, I'm paying somebody else's mortgage. I'm not gaining any asset or something. I'll insert whatever angry comment somebody wants to throw on the internet. And I think, how do you sort of think about that? Because I've got, of course, views, and I was one of the, I wouldn't say OGs because maybe that's a bit arrogant of me, but there was an article of me out there in 2016 about rent vesting, and I was like, and I would probably still be a rent investor. I shouldn't say that too loud, because people might be watching. But how do you tackle when somebody says, but you're paying dead rent money is dead money? How do you think about that?
No, I don't see. Look, long-term property growth, I take it as, let's say, Sydney. I would take it as anywhere between 5 to 7%. For me, all I needed to do is whatever resources I have available to me, I make sure that it outperforms that 7%. So if I keep growing at 10%, I'll reach there, and I would not have a bad debt sitting on my books. So that was how I looked at it.
Yeah, I like that the way you handle that. The way I sort of think about that is I'm like, well, it's dead money if you're not utilizing the money, the difference between how much you're paying on rent versus the mortgage, and investing that. If you're using that 600, if you're paying $600 and your mortgage would have been 1,000, 1,500 a week, whatever it is, and you're using that $900 to go on a trip to an around the world first class trip, then yes, it is dead money because you're not then creating that nest egg. But I want to take a step back because I know Ricky loves how we go deep into people's childhoods and understanding. So he loves it. So he can. So what do you then sort of, what motivated you to get started in investing? Like, did you come to Australia and just think, well, crap, it's too expensive to live here, I have to do something? Or was there something deeper back when you're in Singapore and back in India as well? What inspired you to invest along the way?
I have always been a fan of investing. I mean, I learned it much later in my life because I wasted a lot of money in my 20s. And later, when I was in my 30s, I learned that your jail-free card to get out of a normal life or lead the life by design or of your choice is through investment. But obviously, Singapore is a bit different from Australia. The property market works differently. I used to invest in different sort of asset class. Back in India, I do have a couple of properties, and I do invest in the Indian stock market as well. So I would not say that investing was new to me, but the asset class that I'm investing at the moment was new to me.
There you go. You go, Michael. I'll pop you in there.
So yeah, just so you arrived and you outlined the kind of tax situation and you figured there's got to be a better way. Like what was interesting to me was that you said that you spent a good year plus of doing your research, and I think that to me, I love that because I think that people aren't really spending enough time educating themselves before they jump in because there's a fear of missing out. It's like, oh no, the market's moving. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. I'm going to miss out on this opportunity. But the thing is, when you plan, and you're equipped, you can go so much faster long term. And that's like, how many years have you been doing? Like what, since 2021 till now? It's 2025. You've done 12 flips. Like, come on, like that's more than people do over a lifetime, right? So yeah, I love that, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. And but so Kush, take us through that. So it took a year. We will unpack some of the deals because for me, I think that's important for people to see that there are many paths, because often people say to me, well, what do you think about this deal? And I typically respond, well, I don't know if that's for my portfolio, but if that works for your portfolio, then you need to establish what your parameters are. So how did you then what questions and what resources did you look at to go, okay, great, this is for me? How did you think about that? What was the better way you were looking for, Kush or Kushal?
Look, I was a voracious consumer of all the podcasts that is out there. So if I was walking, I was listening to a podcast. If I was in the gym, I was listening to a podcast. I would go through YouTube. I mean, I have listened to every shit that is out there, from the good, bad, and ugly. And then
what are some of the good ones you listen to anyway? I don't have this. I don't mind if there's other podcasts that get a bit of a mention. That's okay. We won't mention the ones you didn't think were great. You can tell us that after the show, because I want to know. I want to share the good resources out there for people. What are the things that people should be looking at?
Look, I listen to your podcast. I listen to Pizza and Property. I listen to Oz Property Investory, just because they bring in very different people doing different stuff of thing. I just feel somebody who says this is the only way that you can build wealth through property is just absurd. There is so many ways to skin a cat. And I was listening to all the different ideas that people actually execute and do. And I was trying to find that what I'm good at or what fits my circumstances at that time.
Yeah. And what did that, let's unpack, what did that look like? Was it and I think we got some slides here, mate, as well. So we got to show how old were you here, mate? Were you sort of, this was taken yesterday, wasn't it, Kush?
2012, mate.
Yeah, look at you, migrant, wander, and alchemist. So that's what I love about your. No, the shit ones have to come out first, so people can avoid them. No, Greg. I mean, good and bad and shit. Well, look, I mean, I don't really like trashing people. And throw your comments and questions for Kush as well. But so you started this, and good on you. The why. What is, and this is important, Kush. What is the why? Because we'll unpack. This is where you're going as well. I think this is very important. And Michael's got something to say on this as well, I'm sure. What does this look like? What's the why for you?
See on the bottom left of the slide, that's
Yep.
my map for this year of places that I have traveled to.
Me.
And honestly, if given a choice, I would travel for 6 months of a year. And thankfully, I have a supportive partner who kind of gets it.
Yep.
And she would join if she can. So I love that. And that's my biggest why, that, I want to own my time. And I'm not one of those person who is frustrated at work, who doesn't like their job and all of that. I'm not complaining, but at the same time, you can't have a job and go traveling for 6 months. So that's my big why. I think I love that wanderer life.
Top shit one, please. Bronson's asking us you'll have to come to the Australian real estate meetup around the grounds, and we might talk about it after a few stone awards. Bronson. So I think you. So I want to know though, Kush, are you currently? These are all the comments on YouTube, guys. They don't flow through, unfortunately, because so sorry, they're on Facebook, not YouTube. Drop us the comments on YouTube. Make it easy for us to see. Otherwise, I've got my second screen open. But Kush, tell us. Are you currently working? Are you full-time flipping? Like, I didn't give you. Are you still working in shipping, or what do you do?
Yeah, I'm still occupied in oil and gas. I do my flip, so yeah, it keeps me busy, but no complaints.
Crazy though. I just thought you literally were doing property full time. I didn't even know this. I just loved So tell us
What's the
about
definition of full time? Are you saying that definition of full time is 8 hours? If it's 8 hours, then I'm just not doing at the regular hours. At irregular hours, I'm doing that.
Yeah, for me, it's
like a consultant.
Yeah, consultant.
Yeah.
Like a 9 to 5, like somebody who has to show up to or attend a meeting. Like for me, being self-employed, like I'd probably work a few more than 40 hours a week. But I could also say, hey, look, like I don't have to get my leave approved from the boss. I mean, the boss might not give me the leave because I have too much to do. But if I'm being a bit funny. But no, this is amazing. Like, sorry,
it shows that that you can do it while still working, full hours, right? I mean, it's possible. You're an example of that while working for a big organization. I'm sure, a shipping company, after all. Yeah.
Well done, Kush, man. You're so relaxed as well, so calm. We could go onto that. So tell us. I'm sort of putting the horse before the cart here, but tell us, like deal one, how hard was it to find? Like, what are the steps involved? Or like what did deal one look like? Let's just unpack that.
Deal one, all my deals look shitty at first, so so there is no escape of that. So, but I'm always looking for opportunity. So
that's why you're making all the pictures small, right, Kush? But the numbers are big.
That should be the way. So yeah, this was in deal one. This is just after Brisbane floods in Feb of 2022 from memory. So I did not buy in March, but my first deal, which is not here because I still have it, was in probably April, May. And that was the first one that I bought. And so that house does not flood, the street floods and all of that. But the house doesn't flood. It's in a flood zone. If normal people sees it, they would not buy it. Anyways, I bought it because I was getting it at land value. And I said, my downside from here is very limited. And it's not that just because it was cheap, I bought it. I actually studied the property market, that how long did it take to rebound from the 2011 floods. And there would be somewhere you can search on internet. There is some graphs that shows that from 2011 till how many years every suburb took. And so the max was like 4 or 5 years. So I knew that the worst thing is I have to hold this one for 4 or 5 years, and it will come back to its price. In the meantime, um, the rental yield is pretty good. And actually, if
What's
you
the rent?
see that it's now listed for 700 per week.
Yeah. So look at
Wow.
this. So this is and you did have this on this slide, but so you bought it in January of 2023 for
Y-
355,000, and you sold
Sorry,
it.
Jeff.
Sorry, you go, mate.
You will have two dates. So what the agent did, Jan was the settlement. So actually, it sold in
Ah,
October.
okay.
I
Yeah.
did a late settlement, early access, and on Jan, when it settled, I straight away put it back on the market.
Wow.
Ah,
So tell yeah. So how did
wow.
you think that this was your second deal, because the first deal you still currently own, but how did you think, okay, great, this is a strategy I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this property and I'm going to do a delayed settlement. Like where are you picking up these things, Kush? Because these are the sort of things that the investor's been in the game for 5 or 10 years, and people are asking me day in day out. It's like, well, how do I get the value to be higher before I even do the work? And it's called an on completion value. And my sort of feedback on that is it is harder to get. You just have to keep speaking to different people within the bank to make sure somebody understands the policy. But it feels like how did you gain this knowledge? Because I think that's the unlock for people sitting at home. Is it asking questions, or purely listening to
Yeah,
podcasts?
just ask the question.
Yeah.
Look, nobody would buy this deal, and you have to be a bit of, I think, a bit crazy to buy this. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because I can see
so nobody
Brisbane.
would. And
Is that Brisbane River? Where's Brisbane River through?
Jeff, can you keep going? Sorry to interrupt. Can you just, yeah. I think I've looked
yeah,
at this property.
you renovated
Was
it quite
this
nicely.
from Gavin? Did you buy this from Gavin? From Jensen?
but from Jensen, that's right.
But was the agent Gavin?
No,
No,
the
no, it was
agent was Ken.
Saba.
Oh, okay, all right. Ken, the
Yeah,
Asian agent, right? Asian guy.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
that's right.
Gavin's,
So,
yeah, okay.
because whilst this is in a flood, we've let's call it out. It's in a flood, or the street flooded. Did you kind of think, well, yes, it's a risk, but it's built on the stilt, so it's your kind of
It
your
does flood,
Queensland.
Jeff. Make no mistake. On this street, the water comes like on that level.
Oh
On this
wow, okay.
street,
So,
not every street.
so it does flood this street.
Yeah,
Let's have
this
a look.
this is
Okay.
probably the lowest street. So it's not that all the street floods, but this one definitely does flood.
Yeah.
So you just to kind of rehash the process. You were specifically targeting a flooded block because you knew it
No,
takes max 4 years to recover.
I was targeting opportunity, and
Yep.
this was an opportunity which fitted the money that I had at that time and the budget that I had at that time. And I had
Yeah.
already seen the upside from the first reno and basically refinance that I did. Numbers are crazy on that one, so I bought it for 430. Did a reno for 90 grand, and it was a full val that came out at 789 in 3 months.
Oh, is that this one came out at 789?
No.
No.
This is the one that I hold still,
Ah, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
and that's a
So
full val.
talk us through the strategy around this though, because did you flip because you wanted, there was, let's see, so your purchase price is 350, so you're selling, so your profit excluding seed, as in seed funding, so excluding Yeah, so 495 minus 434. So you made 61 grand cash available for
Yeah.
the next. Oh, yeah. So you had your deposit in there as well. So you made 61,000 in about 2 or 3 months. Was that the reason because you couldn't then extract the equity, or were you deliberately saying you're going to offload that?
No, it was a deliberate decision to offload that and keep and get into renovate to flip.
Yeah, okay. Well, so
because there were a lot of opportunities available at that time, and people were just too scared to
Right.
to touch it. I think the second
Did you,
deal is also flood zone. Yeah.
sorry, just regarding the renovation, the strategy, did you do it yourself? Did you fly up? Like,
No,
how did that happen?
I'm shit on the tools, so I don't touch any of the tools. So no.
yeah. The tools are probably grateful that you and I both don't touch them because like I'd probably bend a paintbrush doing that. No, anyway, so Kush, it's interesting, Rebecca, and keep throwing the questions. I'm so shocked. Like, yeah, he's not joking. It's not the deal you think was a winner. They were cheap, and I avoided them. Regrets, perhaps. But yeah, how did you then sort of? Because what was because everybody, let's unpack maybe the elephant in the room, and it's something, not the elephant, but one of the challenges that people can't necessarily get their head around is the insurance piece. So what was the insurance roughly for? I mean, you only held it for a couple of months anyway, but for properties in that, how do you maybe this is a trade secret, so sorry if I'm getting you to reveal a secret source, but how do you think about the insurance piece?
It seemed like, as I said, if your broker says that you can't borrow, doesn't mean you can't borrow. You can't borrow with that broker, but you can borrow with somebody else. So you have to keep knocking the door, and you have to understand how insurance works. So, say for example, how it works is, in a normal circumstance, let's say this suburb of Rockley, if Suncorp has got 70% of the share, and this suburb is a normal suburb, then if you go to Suncorp, they will get you the best deal just because they have a history of that suburb, nothing has happened and all of that. So they understand the risk better and they give you the best deal. However, if it's sorry.
How do you sorry, I have so many. How do you understand what what percentage?
How'd you find this out?
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, talking to people first of all, and then reading historical data on what happened in 2011. Suncorp is really popular in Queensland because they paid out everybody in 2011. But if it's a compromised suburb like this or in a bushfire zone and all, the guy who has got the major share, they have all the history of that, and they always charge you a premium because they are at risk. If something happens to the suburb, their exposure is far more. So you would need to find an insurance company who has got the lowest amount of share in that suburb. And they, just because they don't have that history, they will give you the cheapest deal.
Right.
That's
a great
crazy.
tip.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy and very interesting because because I've worked in bigger financial institutions, and I just think if I've know that I just jump on a flood map and I'd say, well, this place is going to flood. Like we shouldn't be giving a lower premium because it's a higher risk. So it's an interesting sort of approach, like because all these things they don't want to lose.
Even with the higher risk, just because they don't have the history, they are still cheaper than somebody who has been paying out
They've been
in the
burned.
previous floods. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
So we want the newbie insurers. Like, is there a website where you can check out new insurance companies popping up every year, or how did you know?
Yeah, you go to Insurance Council of Australia and you'll see so many new ones. Just go through each of
I
them.
would just say that because insurance is definitely a licensed product, a financial product, please just make sure you read the PDS, understand the product disclosure, exactly what you're signing up for with that, particularly if it's going to be a rental, because you want to understand what you're covered for and what you're not covered for as well. So cheapest is not necessarily always best, I would say.
Yeah.
but yes, no, that's yeah. I just want to.
Cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. That is a trade secret. I didn't know that. Awesome.
You go. Look at, and this is the renovation. So when you bought it, was this what it looked like? It was like basically back to nothing.
Yeah, back to strip out. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a nice concrete.
Yeah. But it is. Did it come like that? Was this is the underneath, or was this the upper, like the
I
part of the
think
property?
this was the underneath of that house. Can't remember
Yeah,
which one. I have done so many over there, so I can't remember which house is what.
yeah, great. And so, how did you decide Rockley, or how did you, when going into an area? I want to know the warts and all, Kush. How did you decide which area you're going to go and invest in next?
I don't decide on area. I just decide on the deals. I should, when I enter, my downside should be so protected that from there it can only go up, and I just have to wait that a year, 2 year, 3 year, and I know that it will go up. If you are interested, you can go to Rockley, the suburb, and just check what they have sold in the last 6 months. I can tell you that there would be no sales below 700, even with a flood in the flooded zone.
Should we have a look at it? Do you know which streets are
Yeah.
flooded? Yeah, let's. You want to? Should we
E-
go on a bit of a trip? Let's do it, because I think that's fun. Let's go Rockley median house price. And how do you think about this as well, Michael? Do you have a similar mindset?
I love that you focused on the opportunities rather than suburbs, because everyone who comes up to you may ask, someone who's kind of new will be like, oh, what suburb, as if going to that suburb means that they're going to get a comparable deal. That's not the case, right? Like, you're looking at specific opportunities, and this is where it was like you can't lose money buying a bargain, right? If it was how much below
yeah.
market, you reckon? Like 20% below market, 30%?
Probably more, 30% below market, right?
Yeah, and
So
just a
the
matter of time.
last sale on the same street was for 580.
Wow.
So
So
that's like,
yeah, so this is where you've got your what was the name of the street again? It was over here.
Tremble.
it's Tramo Street, and you will see there is one house that sold at the start of the year for
830 is this
830.
the one?
Yep,
23?
yep, that's the one. Yeah, and it floods
Wow.
as well.
That's
Jeez.
crazy, isn't it? Like, look, it's the same land. So they must have just built, because I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine this particular part of Ipswich, you're
Brisbane.
I imagine that sorry, man, that
Brisbane. It's Brisbane.
Brisbane. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I thought it was further out. I imagine they would have built those similar properties all around, the same sort of thing, just to get them to house was this a housing commission, traditionally a lower socio sort of area, Rockley?
Uh, Jeff, this is 10 miles from CBD.
Oh yeah, mate. There's plenty of Redfern. There's plenty of
Oh
plenty
yeah. But when I think about my downside, I was like, I am very, very limited.
Look at that though. Just to compare, this is crazy. So and this is like Brizzy saw that considerable. Well, actually, I mean, I might think that might have even been a favourable purchase to go from 160 to 150 when Brisbane was absolutely pumping. That would be very surprising if it went backwards in that period of time, and then and then to go for 450, I think that's probably a favourable sale. That one there. But let's just say, for 450. Yeah, so this person bought it at 450. Yeah, happy days. And then it would have essentially been, somebody would have been able to pick that up at like same sort of price, 400, 420 at around that COVID sort of thing, and then doubled in the sort of 3 to 4 years. So, but anyway, the point is that, this place that does flood, there's still plenty of opportunity, isn't there?
Yeah, and I always say that a lot of people has got a lot of opinion. It doesn't matter. I just need a buyer who is different from somebody who has got an opinion, and there is always that buyer.
Yeah, well done. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
The thing, so good on you. So where did you sort of go, and did you sort of think, okay, great, that was just, where did you go from here? Like, what did this sort of journey look like from here, Kush?
Actually, we bought another property on that street, and it was crazy to have two properties in the same street. So I did not put it in the slide, but 63 Tramo Street is also a property that I bought and sold. So yeah, and
same strategy.
You know why? Yeah, same strategy: buy cheap, renovate, sell.
Nice.
And would you? Oh, so you go, man.
Yeah, and then it was just about finding the right opportunities.
Yeah. How do you, because a lot of people say it's a bit of a throwaway line when you say find the right opportunities. I think you already answered this to some extent, but it'd be good to crystallize because some people go in either lower socio or flood areas or main roads, and they just say, "Oh, compared to that property 2 streets away, I'm getting a bargain." But what they don't realize is they've overpaid by 50K. They've got a 50K discount versus that other comparable, but now they've still paid 50K more. So how do you think about the right opportunity? What does that sort of look like? How do you do that research? Is it realestate.com? Or?
Yeah, so for all properties, I believe there is an intrinsic value in that property. So
Yep.
if you ask a bank valuer to value a property, they will value. It doesn't matter. It's on highway. It's on. It has got a transmission line or whatever it is. They will highlight the risk and they will value the property. They will come back with a numerical figure for that property. My job as an investor is to understand that value and then to get a discount on that value. So I know that my downside, I'm protecting it. The first rule of investing, don't lose your capital. So I make sure I don't lose my capital and then just do whatever it needs to do to get that uplift.
That's really
Yeah.
good, man. I think that if people just kind of take that one line, that one statement from this podcast, you would get a lot of value because I'm still processing it myself. So you said that if the worst thing happens, like whatever you've got a set intrinsic value or bottom price or floor price, no matter what, it won't go below this. And if you negotiate whatever the downlift that it floods or whatever it is, if you negotiate from that price, then you can't lose basically, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I want to take a step back beyond the deal. Which yes, we love the deal. We love finding a cracker deal. But how do you respond when people say, "Oh yes, great, the Brisbane boomed, it pumped hard," like, and yes, you made money going into the deal. How do you
Who
think
said that?
about like, yeah, whatever it is, but you made money through the biggest one of the bigger booms in Aussie property history. How do you think, like, do you then sort of feel you need to switch a location, or are you just comfortable sort of then getting in, making that profit on the deal in a location that you know? How do you think about that?
I will do a deal anywhere in Australia.
Anyway,
So
oh geez,
anywhere.
yeah.
Uh,
All
but I just need to understand the risk. If I don't have a team of trade set up, I will take 6 months of holding cost as an additional risk that when I get into that. So I'll add on those costs and then see if it lines up or not. But
right.
if there is an opportunity, I'll go for it.
Yeah, that's absolute gold, man. Like even taking back to Michael said, it's like not you're sort of establishing what the value or price is. You feel that you're probably not going to lose money because and then people say, oh yeah, but what happens if Australian what happens if the market drops a further 20 or 30%? Well, if the market drops 20-30%, then we've probably got bigger problems to worry about. The whole market is probably doing that, but yeah, go on.
But you already bought it 20-30% below market anyway. So your
Yeah.
worst case scenario is you just break even, whereas everyone else
Yeah.
will be stuffed. And then you'll be like, oh, time to grab as many properties as possible, right? So,
Yeah.
if you have that kind of opportunity mindset, then you can't lose. I love it. It's a can't lose mindset.
And even in 2023, start of 2023, when this was sold, they were still renting for 600. So my worst case scenario is I could not sell it, but I have a property which I bought for 355, renovated for 65 or whatever, 410, 420, and it rents for 600. I think I'm taking that deal.
Yeah. Tell us, so Bronson, I love the engagement. So keep throwing the questions and comments, people, because I think that's how a lot of us learn. We kind of think through and then say, what about this and what about that? And it's like, we've got a very safe space here. Any blowout stories in cost, example, reno, legal, bad debt recovery? What are the lessons you've learned along the way, Kush? Or some of the lessons?
Don't take early access.
Don't take early access. Okay, interesting. Because that's a bit counterintuitive because people think, oh yeah, I want to get in and get the reno done so I can minimize my holding costs. I can get in, do
Okay.
what happened there? Tell us a story.
So I was doing a renovation with an early access in Hobart, and this is in 2023 when
Yeah.
Hobart is not hot as it is today, but I got a deal. Uh, what happened was that I bought this brick house on 700 square meter land for 260K.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, you can't buy that. But I bought it so cheap. The guy who was selling it had a mortgage on that property, which was more than 260K. And there
Oh,
is no way on
underwater.
the earth for me to know that.
Hmm.
And that's why after doing the work, the settlement kept getting delayed. By that time, I had put in 30 grands into it, and the settlement kept getting delayed. Finally, it settled, but it could have been that we would still be sitting here without the house being settled, and I have put in like 30 grands in there, right?
Yeah,
So,
because I imagine in that scenario, the bank's like, well, no, we've got the caveat on this. You can't. It's not going to unless you give us the money that it needs to
yeah, yeah,
be
yeah. So,
the property that's owed to us. We're not going to settle. They'll just drag the
yeah,
heels. So, and
yeah,
you can do as much legal action as you want to on the person who owns the property, but that's not
yeah,
going to help out, unfortunately.
yeah.
They got the
Wow.
mortgage. They don't have to sign a Form 18. So they
I
dragged it out.
yeah, I do it only when they don't have any mortgage or any caveat on the property, but otherwise, I don't take early access. I take early access just to send the architects and the builder and all of that, but I don't put any money on it.
Yeah, that makes because then that way like your worst case scenario, you have an extra 2 months holding costs or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah,
actually, not even that. Like, yeah, you would because you wouldn't have had the work done. Because that's I love that you kind of are able to share the war stories. You're not and I was thinking this one, Rebecca, as well. She the idea of finding deals, buying a discount. Okay, how many deals do you perhaps consider to find? Is it 100 deals, Kush, or how are you talking 1,000 deals? How many are you looking at?
it, probably. I haven't done the numbers, but I would easily say that I would get one after looking for 100.
Oh, 1 in
The
100, roughly.
the yeah, the rate of rejection is very very high, and I don't buy 5% under market or anything like that. If I'm buying, I'm buying at a discount.
Mm.
Mm,
So minimum of 10 or 15?
15,
20, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
15, yeah.
I want to ask, and maybe this is, I want to know this the secret, Kush. Like, what is it that gives you the opportunity to find those under market by 10 to 15 to 20%? Is it that it's in a flood zone, main road? Like, what are the things? Is it the stress? Like, what's the issue you're identifying and then going in hard?
Just look where nobody else is looking. So I subscribe to all the data platforms that they are out there just to see where the market is going, and I don't go there.
Ah,
Mm.
so are you still buying in? Are you still buying in Brisbane then? Because a lot of people are going to Brisbane.
Yeah, but they are not buying what I'm buying, so there's no
Ah,
chance in the world that they will buy that.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But
So just one thing that it's really interesting. You're from Sydney, and usually, people from Sydney usually have a bigger budget than, other investors from other states. But I think it's really interesting. You didn't, everything's cheap to Sydney siders in Brisbane, right? Or it was, or kind of still is compared to
yeah,
Sydney. But you- you're buying cheaper than Brisbane people are buying properties for. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. Like you got that eye to find the deal. And what'd you say? You subscribe to all the platforms to then not
Yeah,
use any
yeah.
of that information for places to
No, no,
avoid.
no, no. Yeah. My idea is to avoid. I mean, look, how are the investors trained today? It's like you put a budget, you put a rental yield, you put a days on market or whatever it is. I haven't seen any home buyers come to your first home open and ask the agent what this property would rent for. It's just immaterial. It's something in the mind of the investor. And
yeah,
to me, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
yeah. It's interesting because I sort of had a similar conversation today, and it went along the lines of yes, Fun or Queensland, all these places that are like if I put my investor hat on, like because I'm like, what are the people that are actually moving? And yes, there are exceptions, of course, but what are the people that are moving that market, which typically is, if it has the fundamentals, is the owner occupiers. What are they thinking about? They're thinking about, okay, is it a half decent area and can I afford it? Because an investor cares about, okay, great, is it going to get capital growth and what's the rental yield? So the moment that the rental yield drops too much and the whatchamacallit and the capital growth sort of starts to slow or whatever, there's not potential for it, they'll move on to the next area because but an owner occupier thinks, okay, can I actually afford it and do I want to live in this area? What kind of things do you think about an owner-occupier thinks about anyway, Kush?
It's very different. Like for me, the market moves just based on two things. One is affordability, and the other one is livability. So the deals that I was doing at the start, they were all very, very affordable deals. So people who wants to live close to the CBD don't have that budget, they would buy those ones. And now what I'm doing, those are very, very sort of owner occupier deals in premium locations. So when I'm doing the deals, I get the local agents involved right at the start, and I know my end buyer before even I start renovating. Am I designing it for a 40-something young couple? Am I designing it for downsizers? Am I designing it for upsizers? So I know what I'm designing it to.
So are you targeting the middle, the bottom, the middle, or the top? I'm guessing not the top, but bottom or middle?
In the sense,
In terms of
the latest
Pricing,
deals.
price, like
probably.
the type of buyer that you mentioned, like generally, or
I don't have a price point as such. It's just the opportunity at which price point it comes. What I have lately noticed is it's very, very hard to get deals at the lower price point because you will be priced out by somebody who thinks they can do a DIY and live in that house for 2-3 years. So the best opportunities are probably where end value would sit more than 1.5, 1.6 mil. Because those are the type of people who has got money and doesn't want to take the headache of doing a renovation or doesn't have the skills to do that. So
The lazy
opportunity
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the lazy
That's great.
rich. I love that.
the professionals. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and this says to this question: how can you keep buying a discount when the market is moving? Well, I think this is probably a question we've already covered off a little bit, maybe more than a little bit. It's where is the herd going? If the herd's going to that renovated property, the finished end deal that's in like the best part of the suburb, then yeah, that's probably not the deal that you're buying, Kush. You're buying the one that's affordable, needs a bit of work, it's unloved, and might be in a flood zone, something like that. Where is that kind of the way you think as well, or to some extent?
No, I just don't play in the market that's moving. It's as simple as that. Because if you put your investor hat on, you are not going to buy. I mean, even when I buy now, I'm buying in the 800, 900K properties, and they need a lot of work. You are not going to buy that as an investment property. So definitely the investors are out, and what remains are the owner ops. They are not going to put in so much of effort in a deal, and they don't know
Yeah.
how to deal with it.
Yeah, geez. What I'm hearing here, and I'm sure this is something that we saw with your story as well, Michael. So go and watch Michael's. You guys are just absolute. If you're going to outperform the average, you have to do more than the average. Like I know that sounds super cliche, but let it sink in, because what Kush is saying is he's doing the stuff that other people don't want to do. Because if you do the result, if you do the work that other people don't want to do for like 5 years, you'll be able to live the life that other people won't live for the next 40 years, kind of thing, or 50 years. Because it's like somebody in a job, and this person in front of us has a job. So I'm pretty pumped about just like you're not just thinking, okay, great, I'm going to go and buy that second deal I see on realestate.com. You're thoroughly researched the market. You understand who's going to be the end buyer. You've done all this, so you know that market better. This is the quintessential boots on the ground that Joe talks about so often. You actually understand the market better than real estate agents, I would say, probably.
Well, my knowledge comes from the local real estate agents, so I wouldn't say I know better than them, but they are a key
Aw,
element in the whole system.
come on, that's bullshit. You know more than them. You have to know more than the agents. I mean, they're obviously a critical part, but you got to know more than them.
Yeah. Nice. So talk us through this deal number 2.
Sorry, can I
Oxley.
just say one more thing following on
Go
what
on.
you were saying, Jeff? What you're doing is counterintuitive. I think that a lot of people are trying to get their head around how you're getting deals below market. It's because everyone seems to be thinking a certain way. You're supposed to do it this way, A, B, C, D, and you're actually going from Z backwards. You're still getting to the same result or a better result, but you're going like what did you say? I just go where the market doesn't move, which is like so simple, but it makes sense. I love it. Like duh, because if you're going in the same direction that everyone else is in the same paddocks and the same herds and all that pastures, then obviously you're gonna be eating scraps, with fighting against the rest of the herd. So you're just leading down, making your own path, which is so cool. Yeah, and it's really interesting to me personally, anyway, because we primarily, you and I, Kush, we both play in Brisbane. And it's really interesting to hear your insights and your process, as you were saying at the beginning. So many ways to skin a cat, right? So thanks for sharing your cat skinning skills, man.
I don't know if we can
I love it.
talk about. Yeah, there's a bit of controversy around any animal sort of. But yeah, no, I get it. No, I'm only kidding. Not kidding. No. I mean, yeah, just the saying. So we can't.
Yeah.
So because Elijah, and I think you answered this largely in your research with the strategy. Are you having issues with how long it takes to sell? 60 days instead of 30? I would say probably not, because you've identified probably 5 to 10 buyers that are going to come in and they're going to start a bidding war with each other because it's affordable, it's desirable, it's renovated. Is that are you seeing issues selling things that you're putting out there?
Yeah, but it's not because of the flood or anything. So at the start of this year, the Brisbane market was slow. If anybody plays in the Brisbane market regularly, they would realize that March, April, May, there is a slow market. And when I'm putting anything on the market, I'm already factoring in, and especially I have a high value product in terms of Brisbane market, 1.6, 1.7. I know it will stay on the market for 60 days, another 60 days for settlement. So I'm already factoring in 4 months into my feasibility.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and it's just holding costs, I suppose. But what do you have concerns that, like, how do you think about? Let's just say your target sell price is 1.2, and then somebody comes to you at 1.15. Are you like, well, that's close. It's still making me 100K or whatever it is. Are you taking that offer, or are you saying, hey, look, I'll wait for that 1.2? How do you think about that?
Depends on my personal situation. If I have some deals on the go that needs funding, then probably I would take it. But if I don't need the money, I would not take it. Also, if I don't make any additional money just by holding more time, I would still not sell it at 1.15, just because I want to drive home the point that when I do a project, the sales agent should not come back to me and say that, look, we are not getting there, it's 1.15. So I want to drive home that it is selling at 1.2 and they should do their job.
Interesting. Yeah, no. Talk us through these. Talk us through this deal, because then we'll throw. Yeah, number 2. I just want to call out. You've made $202,000 on this property in Oxley. Tell us about this one.
So this was in Lawson Street in Oxley, that floods as well. Doesn't come all the way up. I bought it for, I think, 405,
Yep.
and the month that you see is not the month we settled on that property. We settled probably 3-4 months later. I think it was early Feb that we settled on that property. And yeah, bought it for 405. Renovation was roughly 110 grand on this one. Sold for 755. Net profit was around the 200K. So I had 146K from the previous deal, 200K on this one. So roughly about 349, 350 from both of these deals. And if you see the timing, it's like one deal flowing into the another one. I think this sold in June 2023.
Yeah. Yep. So a couple. Did you oh yeah, so you're not even not even, but so you're not as concerned about holding. Oh, I suppose you're running a business anyway, so you're
Yeah,
paying not we're giving advice, but you're paying the
no,
GST and the company tax rate or whatever entity it's being distributed to anyway,
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, look,
That's a
you do some
significant
really
reno.
nice. Yeah, I know. Look, I want to look at this reno. I'll
Yeah,
bring it up on
110
screen.
grand. I want to see. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, it looks. How do you So how do you identify? Because we spoke about the team and we've got probably in the slide as well. So we're sort of jumping ahead here. But how do you think about like getting the team together, Kush? Because that's absolutely vital. What members do you have in your team, and how do you think about getting them?
The the first deal that I did, I spent about 7 days in Brisbane interviewing trades actually, and from there I had sort of team. Did not need a builder because I was not doing um, any major renovation in terms of that requires a building permit. But I had all licensed trades that I selected. Now, of
Yeah,
course, everything is bigger in volume, and also we have a builder. But the deal that I have with my builder, and he's a lovely bloke, is that I will still retain my old team, like the tilers, the sparkies, the plumbers, and all of that. And whatever I don't have is what he's going to supply. So
as a
Uh,
yeah.
I'm
So
a
you sort
big
of
believer of carrying the team, and of course, like trades, they would sometimes be cranky, and then you have to chuck them out of the team and bring new guys. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think I
So
wanted to point. Oh, sorry, you go, man.
I was just wondering, is it like if you scroll back up, Jeff, it says it's a mil, like the estimate. Is that about right in Oxley now? Because Oxley's like a mil plus suburb now.
yeah, but this one floods. But have a look at 12 Lawson Street. So the one that's just
Next
beside
door.
this one, yeah, it's next
I
door,
just
and
wanted to
it
point
just
out as well.
sold.
Before we go to it, Kush, you bought this at under what the person, and yes, it might have needed a full gut reno, but somebody in 2015 paid 465. 7 years later, you bought it off them for $55,000 less. Sorry, not 55, $60,000 less. And like that's just got to was. Do you know if was it just? It must have been dilapidated, absolutely dilapidated. Was it for that? For that
Nah,
price?
nah, it was the easiest reno that I have done on this one. And
Yeah.
the good part was, I mean, nobody is losing in this one. He got his money back from the insurance. So there are no
Wow.
losers. And if you look at 12 Lawson, the people who have bought it from us, they have also made equity.
Your styling is fantastic as well. Like
Yeah.
good shout out to whoever you get on that. Like, do you have somebody a service up that way, or like
Yeah.
who gets? Yeah, let's look at 12. Number
So is
12.
12 number 12 yours as well, or
No, it's not. But obviously, I have sold there, so I keep a track. Yeah. And that sold for 900.
Look at that.
that
Geez,
was recent?
900,000. Yeah. You look if we
And
look
that's
here as
recent.
well. Yeah, okay. So they bought it in for 2019, 422. So I'd say, I mean, yours is a 5-bed because you got the upstairs, downstairs, right? So these guys
Yeah.
could arguably do something similar, maybe, if they did the fire, the compliance sort of stuff. The
But it's not
upstairs.
staged. They did this themselves. You can see that's
Yeah.
personal furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez,
Yeah.
wow. That's a they got the
A-
multi-purpose.
And this one is in flooded zone as well. You can look at Brisbane City Council map, it floods as well. So when people say, I'm not going to buy it, I'm saying, fine enough. There is some buyer out there. I don't care about you.
Close to Darra. There you go. So, man, that's a great deal. So, I mean, how many? Yeah, I'll have a look at the slides. We'll throw to our first sponsor, and then we'll come back in, guys. So let's if you have any questions for Kush as well, definitely keep those questions rolling, team, because this is this absolute gold what you're sharing here. It's fantastic. So let's throw our first sponsor.
Everywhere you look, someone else is making money in property except for you. Your mate, he just bought a house. It's already gone up $100,000. There's some bloke on Facebook. He's bragging about pulling in a 7% rental yield. Meanwhile, you're stuck scrolling real estate and domain, confused as hell, and having no idea about where to start. Or maybe you're that mate that's got $100,000 in equity. You have a few properties under your belt, but you feel stuck. You're unsure about how to scale without over-leveraging and not knowing what the next right move is. So why does it feel like everyone else has some kind of secret that you're missing out on? It's because they do. There's a reason some people keep stacking properties while others sit on the sidelines stacking excuses. There's a reason why some investors buy under market value while others pay too much. There's a reason why investors know the hot spots before there's any heat. And there's a reason that some people build $150,000 in passive income while others just spend years thinking about it. And it comes down to knowledge. And that's exactly why Jeff Miles and I, Joe Tucker, created the Level Up Property course to hand you the exact step-by-step process that we've used to buy over $100 million worth of property in today's market. We've built Australia's largest property investment community with over 80,000 members, and we help everyday investors secure hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity, all without wasting years of their life trying to figure it out the hard way. Making an uneducated decision on the biggest purchase in your life is just gambling with your future.
Stop it. Get some help.
And this isn't just another how to buy property course. Let's be clear though, this course isn't free. What? And neither should it be. This is our life's work. We've spent over 100 hours each on this course alone. Oh, babe. Okay, video number 3. Number 4 with million does... Fuck. Done. We've got decades of experience, millions of dollars in deals distilled into a repeatable process that you can take away for yourself. If you're looking for free advice, there's plenty of noise out there. You can go and find that if you'd like. But if you want real, actionable, step-by-step guided process that works in today's market, then this investment is going to change everything for you. By the time that you finish this course, you will have full confidence. You'll have every tool that you need to build an amazing portfolio if you act on it, right? Which is why we have mentoring built in. So we kick you up the butt to make sure that you're kicking your goals. So the real question is, how much longer are you going to watch everyone else making money in property before you jump in and start playing the property game properly? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you start winning.
We are back. So Kush, I wanted to ask you, how did you finance all these deals? Is it rolling profit from one into the next? Is that how you did that?
The banks was financing. And I was actually, these deals were so low, I could go to another bank and refinance and pull out the equity. So that's what funded some of the renos as well.
Yeah, wow. But you just make it sound so simple. It's like, oh yeah, the bank will just give me the equity. Like it's for anybody who's been, for anybody who's been through a finance application too. And how do you think about? Maybe we're getting too deep into the weeds here, but how do you think about structures? Have you gone the unlimited borrowing capacity in the trust? I think we've well and truly debunked that, but what have you done with that?
Look, I have bought in structures, but that was probably my 7th or 8th deal. It's not my first or second. And also the one that I bought in structure is like 8.5% yield at purchase price, not at 80%, but at purchase price. So different stuff.
Yeah, nice. Mike, you jump in, mate. You asked a really good question, so go for it.
Oh, I want to hear more about this deal. So that's the reason.
Oh, here we go. He's on the news as well.
What'd you do? You did something wrong.
So I was buying so many flooded properties at that point of time, and this was early 2023, that Channel 7 wanted to do like how the property market behaves after a year of flood. And when they looked around, contacted the agent, and they were like, there is this one crazy guy who buys everything. So just call him up. So that's how, I was on Channel 7 at that time.
Yeah, nice.
That's awesome.
Where are we going from here, Kush? By the way, oh, deal number 3. Okay, are we? So how many slides? I haven't looked at all these slides, Kush. How many slides we got coming up? So I can.
No, we just 4 deals that I'm showing over here. But
Yeah.
but if you see the timeline, it just kind of, I sold that in June, and this was bought in August of 2023. Yeah.
Yep.
And then it was Renault, and I can tell you 770 and 1.48 in about 6 months. Yeah.
I think.
So
I think
can
you.
I ask? Oh,
You go,
sorry.
mate.
How did you find this deal? Like, we're just seeing the result of the deal, but yeah, how did the agent call you? Did you just happen to see it on the real estate? Like, how did this one come about?
No, this was on Facebook actually. So
Wow.
yeah, but look, I keep looking everywhere, right? So,
What
so
does that
yeah,
mean?
this
Facebook?
was
For sale by owner, maybe.
no, it was not for sale by owner. The owner did not want to pay any ad fees. So what can the agent do? The poor agent can only put it on free social medias, right? So yeah, I saw that, called her up, and look, one of the other things is I don't put any conditions on the deal. There is no building investor or any of that. So agents love me because I like it clean. I keep it clean. So they are more than happy to deal with me.
How do you feel about I mean, well, how do you think about that unconditional offer? Because for me, I'm just I like it. It's sort of, it's almost auction conditions, right? Like, are you doing any? So you're not doing you're doing any person building. You're getting it inspected. Like, what are you doing before you're going unconditional without either finance or? I mean, finance is maybe not as scary, but what scares me more is probably the pest and building, like the unknown. Like, what if it comes back full rid with termites?
Oh, I have bought properties with termites. So I mean, that does not scare me.
Of course you have.
It's just it's just that I'm purchasing almost a land value. So
Yeah.
whatever on top of that is just bonus for me. So I really don't care
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. The if we share it now, do you look back at deals and just think, you know what, crap, I should have kept that one? Because, or do you just think,
No,
you know what, it served its
never.
purpose. I made my 400,000 and happy days. So let's just see.
No.
You got to keep the pipeline fed, right, Kush? Like, if you hold, then yeah, all you do, you'd be bored.
I mean, I should be regretting selling all those Rockley properties because I sold at low 5s and they would easily sell for mid 7s today. So
yeah. How do you
Crazy.
can you tell us a bit more, and just tell me if I'm prying too deep, but what is the, I don't think it's prying too deep, but is the strategy to then use this cash to then decrease the LVR and other deals, or are you continuing to roll and eventually just going to get to a stage where you take out $1 million profit from a deal, and then that'll be like, what does the exit strategy look like for you with this flipping?
the exit strategy is to buy those crazy 8.5%, 9% yielding properties that will basically fund all the travels that we want to do.
Okay. And you've mentioned before that you do invest, you do diversify somewhat in overseas, the Indian Stock Exchange and all that sort of side of things. So you kind of play in the areas where you feel you have knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah, but I also invest in ETFs where I don't require any knowledge. It's just plain vanilla ETFs, and happy to park some money out there.
Yeah. Well
So
done.
are you seeing opportunities like this now, like the opportunities that you've shown us? Obviously the number is going to be different, but are you still seeing the same kind of opportunities in the current market?
Yeah. The opportunities
Yeah.
are still there. It's just so if you remember, I started at 355 because that's what we had at that point of time, and then there was the market that you could enter at that low value. Now hardly you'll find anything under the sub 7s a renovator which won't be competitive. So you just have to increase the budget and go a bit 200K higher or something like that, but there is always
But have you
something
only
out there.
had 400 then you wouldn't be doing it in Brisbane. You just find the opportunity to
Yeah.
fit your budget. Yeah, like I
Uh,
think that's a great
I
way of
did
looking at it.
one. I did one. I won't share the address because I'm still holding it, but I did one in Melbourne. I bought it for 430. Renovated it. It was total cost was under 5. Bank val came back at 879, 3 months.
Could you give us a general? Is it Western Melbourne or is it Eastern Melbourne or we northern suburbs? Whereabouts in Melbourne are we?
This is inner Melbourne, but it's a villa. But
Oh,
inner
yeah,
Melbourne, prime location. And
yeah,
again,
okay.
I was buying at land value or less than land value. So it was a block of 4 units or
Yep.
4 villas on a 780 square meter block, corner block.
So you get about 150, 160 square meters.
I think about 180 or something from memory. And I was just looking at the land value. That land value in that position is alone 500K. So I'm not losing money on that one.
How do you think, Kush, about because is there any absolute no goes? Like, is there anything you're like, nah, I'm not touching that? Like,
There's nothing for me.
How do you feel about lower socio? Because I'm like more like areas where there's some rough sort of pockets, and because I'm just thinking if I've got a budget of 400, there's definitely parts around Australia in large regional locations. For example, like let's go to Ballarat, Wendouree. You've got, I'm not saying buy there, I'm just chucking out one. You've got pockets where there's like 50% housing ambition where you can pick up a deal at probably 200, 230, 240. But it's going to be like, you're going to have a really hard time potentially with tenants, and you're going to have to do that reno. And then maybe might revalue it about that 400, 420, 430. How do you is that kind of the way you think? Like you're not as concerned about you're just thinking, is there money in that deal at the price point that I need to pay for it at?
Yeah. Look, I don't think I've ever bought in such a low socio that I'll have to be worried about. But I just think that I will take a very good insurance and I'll have a very good property manager. That's my insurance against low socio.
Right. But you know how like we're talking about low socio, like you know, there's I guess not too long ago Cabramatta would be considered low socio, all right, in Sydney. You know, with all the stuff when I grew up there. But now if you look at the median price there, it's crazy. And if you look for the equivalent in Brisbane, you know, the equivalent is Inala. And someone just told me that they can sell any house in Inala for 900 plus. And I was like, what? Are you for real? You know, so, I mean, it wasn't only, pardon?
300-400, maybe even cheaper.
Yeah, we were picking them up for 830, like 3 years ago, you know, or 4 years ago, 830 for 2. Like side by side, you know, so it's I think it's subjective, that whole low socio kind of thing. But you know, Kush, you know, when you said that you would do it anywhere, like, is it more so you think that you really wouldn't do like mining? Yeah, I was just gonna go. It's on the screen now. Would you do mining?
Thanks for that. No, just because it doesn't sell, right? So I need to know the buyers, and I need to know that there is a sufficient pool of buyers.
Yeah. And yeah, so your places like your really regional, like maybe because people, it's come up recently, Mount Isa, like even like Whyalla, like places like even Karratha, like those sort of areas. The challenge is the person that's buying it, that's just probably as close to a Ponzi scheme in properties. It needs more people to come in for you to get out. Like it's literally where you're looking at 60 to 70% investor, maybe even higher percentage, 80% investor. You're like, okay, well, crap, I need an investor to pay me a higher price for this to taking on the yield versus, okay, who's moving out to a mining? They're moving there because you probably picked up a job and then it's being funded by the mines, probably. But yeah, that's.
But also, you know what, the deal would never stack up because renovation is so expensive over there. The trades are so expensive. The supply is so limited. In my head, unless you are a local, the renovation would never stack up.
Too expensive, yeah. Trades to get out there just be crazy. I'm bringing up some more comments. I think low socio and areas are also suffering hugely from extreme poverty and addiction epidemic aren't always mutually exclusive. That's a really deep comment, Rebecca. I think yes, that can certainly play out, because I suppose lower socio could be a lack of not lack, but a lower income, which doesn't mean that there is those other things that are happening as well. Yeah, gee, that's a deep.
Actually, hang on. I do have a property in. Yeah, we do have a property in low socio suburb in Hobart, and I can tell you that has been one of the best performing property in our portfolio, and the tenants are good.
Is it yeah? Is it near a jail by any chance, or? No, don't
Is
worry
it?
about it. Sorry, I've overstepped. But yeah, so this one here, you've got starting capital from stage 3, so you're nearly building up to the stage where you've got close to 800,000. So before when we were having the pre-chat, guys, I was saying like that person who starts off with a paperclip and flips their way up to like a house or something. I'm like, this is effectively, you started off with 40K, I think your seed capital, and now you're sort of looking at close to $1 million in seed capital by the looks of it.
Yeah. Just one disclaimer. This is not a fully done deal, so I don't like putting numbers before it's fully done, but I can tell you it would roughly look something like this.
Yeah, geez.
So they should come to the market in I think end of Jan, Feb. So yeah, but the numbers should look like this.
Which state is this one, Kush?
It's in Brisbane as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So purchase price of 970,000, and you're potentially saying, but a 500K reno. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you renoing for 500,000? That's huge.
Yeah. But the end number is going to be very satisfying as well. So
yeah,
it would be
but
2.4, 2.5. Yeah.
But I'm just what updates are you doing to a property that's costing you $500,000? That's basically the cost of a new build. Like, is it a knockdown rebuild?
No, it is not. I absolutely don't like to knock down anything.
Yeah. Wow. Geez, that's good on you for. You go.
Like a new
Sorry.
dwelling? Is it a new dwelling?
No, it is not. No. It's the same. You're just adding the downstairs as well. So
fireproofing as well, probably.
Wow.
We don't have to do fireproofing, not separating anything. Got internal stairs and everything, but this will be a massive. So it's a 810 square meter land in prime area, with 5 bedroom, 3 bathroom.
How hard?
Yeah.
How hard is
Same
your house?
deal, different numbers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Same deal, but different numbers. It's like there's no. I thought it was like some sort of like, oh, there's a twist here. It's a different strategy, but it's legit reno uplift. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mate, it's been great. And I feel like, unfortunately, like with you, Michael, we're going to have to get you back on, Michael, as well. We've only just scratched the surface with what, I feel bad that we haven't. Yeah, it's just time's flown by. But we'll throw to our second sponsor, and I reckon throw your Q&A in, people. And I just want to, I want to throw some questions, get Michael to ask some questions as well, because he's got so many gun questions, I'm sure. But let's do this.
Oh, Jeff, I wish there was 3 investing books that covered everything property.
Oh, Joe, there is. Steve has 3 books now.
That I do, guys. I've got 3 books now. You probably don't even have to follow this group anymore. Just kidding. You want to keep seeing and hearing from me, of course, so stay involved. But in all seriousness, if you want to get the full picture of investing, residential, commercial, and development, these 3 books have you covered for the fundamentals. For OzProp members, here's the best part. I'm giving these books to you for free. Just cover the postage and I'll send them right to your door. Go to policeyproperty.com or click the link below and get your copies today. You can also get all my spreadsheets, checklists, and resources free on my website. Happy reading, gang.
We're back. So how do you think about, you're probably here too, you focus on the high yielding resi. Is that where you sit, Kush? Like you probably don't want to do commercial. What's your views on that? And
I have the basic fund of commercial, but
Yeah.
I haven't done commercial. I also think I don't need to do commercial.
Yeah.
I think I understand this better, and I can just sharpen my skill on this one.
Yeah.
So are these resi loans or are these commercial loans?
So far, I didn't have to go to any commercial loan, so thankfully, still
Nice.
resi.
Wow.
Jeez, yeah. Like they must, like with that, like once you get to the $500,000 renovation cost, I imagine the lender that you're going with is wanting to see everything buttoned up. They want to see, or how have you gone with? Because like 300K.
Equity from own portfolio.
Ah, okay. Oh, you're pulling, yeah. That's because otherwise, man, it would be painful. They would probably want progress reports and being like, tell us show us the color of the paint you did the walls, and it's just it would get potentially painful. But yeah, there you go. That's probably the way I'd suggest, because people are like, oh, yeah, I want to go and do this. So tell us this. Actually, no. Before we get to this, the crew powering profitable property journey for wealth. But Michael, drop whichever question you're kind of keen, because I'm sure you got hundreds you could ask him.
No, I did in the chat, so I didn't want, nothing we can reveal here. I think, yeah, but
no, but yeah.
Yeah.
Tim said Jack Henderson does a similar strategy, buying into mid to higher end marketing demand areas, then spending several $100,000 upgrades. Look, I hope Jack doesn't watch this, but mate, I think he could almost be copying you, Kush. I mean, he's not sure, but no, I think
I've seen his deals. I think the profit percentage is lesser.
Yeah. You're putting that very, very politely and very nicely. No, I mean, good. He's done. Yeah. Anyway, we won't talk about other professionals on the show, but no. So, mates, what do you tell us about the crew? Because I think it's empowering profitable property journey for wealth. Tell us about this. The teamwork makes the dream work.
I think you can't do this alone. It's very, very incredibly hard to do this alone, and I think you have to get things right from your home, right? So you need somebody who supports you at home, somebody who supports you at your business, and then you got the team, which is your broker. The finance strategy should be clear. Now, when I talk to my broker, I actually don't talk about so much about the next property. I always talk about the next to the next. So how do I get? What do I need? What sort of yield do I need? And then when I have that answer, then I go and buy a property that suits that purpose to get onto the next one. So that broker is very important. Buying well, can't stress how important it is to buy well. I mean, the moment people have got their pre-approval, they would just go and buy. I think you need to put that investor mindset and say that I'm not buying, I'm investing. So the numbers should feel right.
Do you consider
Builder,
yourself running a sorry to interrupt, Kush. I was just wondering, do you consider yourself as running a property business? Like, do you look at this as a business?
I'm not too sure
the way you're
about
behaving
that,
to me, it looks like you're running a business. Like, I'm not the A2 here. I'm just saying, like, you have the right mindset.
but these are all under. I mean, the flips are under proper structure. So
yeah.
So
he's not hiding anything, Mike. He's
yeah. I don't mean from a tax perspective. I just mean as in, like, because what you're doing, whether you acknowledge it or not, is you're treating it like it's a business. It's not emotional. It's about the numbers. It's about the opportunities. It's about building a team that you can leverage, crew. Otherwise, you can't do it by yourself. Like, what are you going to do? Fly up there and do every project? Stuff that. Yeah.
No.
I was just wondering whether you see it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of business. I don't know. I just feel it's the ticket to travel the whole world. So
he doesn't overcomplicate it like my 3 or 4 sentence sometimes where I go into doing it now. But no, how long did it take you to build all this up, Kush? Because I imagine you didn't just talk to your first broker, speak to your first broker, and go.
I would say to the level where I am, probably 2 years, to get the right team, right balance. And people hate sales agent, but I mean, I have
Pretty
purposely put,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
even from a sales agent pitching me a property. And if somebody can read that email, you would realize that the sales agent is almost acting like my buyer's agent and getting deals that nobody will ever see. So so they are great because, and also the fact is that you need to establish yourself in the market. So I probably sell 4 or 5 properties in a year, so they know that they would have a shot at it, and and they know all my projects. They drive by, they give me updates that I saw that somebody is doing the landscape. How far are we? Can we list this for you? So it's really good to have some sort
Mission,
of
bro.
connections out there. Yeah.
How do you, so imagine somebody starting again, because I'm like, okay, great, Kush, it's great you've sold 5 properties in the area. I haven't got that leverage to get the agent interested in sending me these deals or building it. How did you start that? Was it simply, okay, look, here's my brief, Mr. or Mrs. Agent. When something comes up, let me know, because I'm gonna here are my terms. I'm gonna make this a really easy deal for you. Is that kind of the way you did it, or how did you approach your first couple of deals?
The first couple of deals, I would say it's was in a cold market, and that's what I would do if I have to start it again. That, no matter what brief you give, if the market is hot, the sales agent is literally not going to care about you. I need to find a market where days on market at 90. So if I have to put my data set, then days on market would be at 90, and see what are the markets that are popping up, and can I get a owner pocket out there, and can I buy something that would be appealing to a future homeowner. So I would start at that.
Yeah. Geez, this is a whole podcast. We should make this the art of finding trustworthy, dependable tradies. How do you think about that, Kush? What do you think? And Michael as well. I want you guys to both answer this, because I think Michael, we spoke about it a little bit, but you go first, Kush, if you want.
Uh, Look, for me, I'm big on whether the vibe or the energy matches, whether people makes things complicated or not. I love to deal with people who are problem solvers. So there are trades who would say, "This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem," and I just hate it. If there is a trade who says, "We got this, but I think we can solve this," that's my go-to guy. So it's more about that vibe.
How about you, Mike, as well? Are you a vibe guy as well?
No, that's a little too general for me, but I test them. I give them little tests. I'll give them something and see how they go. Because if they're really crap on a small task, then they're likely to be crap on a bigger task. So I'll test, and it's something small enough that if they stuff it up, then I'm okay with losing that money or having to redo that particular work. And you won't be testing. Basically, you're staging the relationship, you're staging the project, you're cutting it up into smaller pieces, and you give them something a bit bigger and a bit bigger and a bit bigger before you actually let them in, or let them, like okay, you're part of the family now, so I think that treating it that way, you're less likely to have surprises. And also, people who gossip too much, they're a bad fit for the team. People who just do the job, focus on solving whatever the problem is, they're the best. They're the ones that are going to stay in your team for years.
Yeah, I think Kush just has so much. There's that tacit knowledge that he just has floating around that I think he doesn't know how much he actually knows. Like you get into a conversation with Kush at a Australian property or real estate meetups, Australian real estate meetups, and you're like, man, like I'm just like, this is really, like, we've spoken to 200 plus like investors with hundreds of $1 million portfolios, and you have a conversation with you. I'm like, yeah, there you go. I'm going to learn something about property when I speak to, or something that I hadn't considered when I speak to Kush. So you just kind of have that wealth of knowledge and understanding. So I think if you actually wrote down your process, we would just be absolutely bloody amazed. Like, you probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe you keep it simple, but Anyway, Greg's
Just
asked.
one more
There you
thing. I'm sorry.
go.
Just I don't think that right hand side, Kush, you didn't explain what that is. I mean, you did to me and Jeff before, but
Yeah,
what
go
is
for it,
that
mate.
screenshot there?
Can I get this right? I got it right. Good.
Yeah.
This bit here, mate. The you can't see my thing. No, you can't see my mouth. So what the right hand side? Why this matches your strategy? So tell us, give us the spiel as to how you set this up with the selling agent.
Oh, I actually didn't ask her to write all of this. She did it on her own accord because she has been to my projects before, and so the heavily distressed project that she's talking to is in the next slide. So that was all termite infested and all, and the end product is unbelievable, and it is going to launch, I think, tomorrow or day after.
Wow. Good stuff. So this is a live sort of thing. It seems like there's double comments from people, which is cool on the whole Facebook. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, that's fine. Yeah, we got a whole bunch, and we'll get to the what next. So Elijah's asked, what ratio of deals are off market, on market? I don't know if you probably keep this. You probably don't. I mean, do you?
Yeah.
Rough, yeah. That's the challenge with even people like myself. I'm like, I want to know the numbers. I want to know the process. It's like, mate, just get out there and just start dialing. It doesn't matter whether it's on, off market, or on Facebook Marketplace. Just if the deal stacks, the deal stacks. Like, I mean, yeah, that's a problem that, I mean, it is tough to do it because you're like, even now I catch myself. I'm like, I look at a thing and I'm like, oh no, but this doesn't work. I'm like, well, what about it doesn't work? How do we solve it? What is, or like, I'm thinking, crap, I have to find this magical unicorn off market. Well, I'm only looking for off markets. I'm missing half the market potentially, or 60% or whatever it is. Anyway, how do you think?
Does it even matter? You know, like as Kush said earlier, it's just about the opportunity. It doesn't really matter where you're getting them from, as long as they meet that criteria, right? Like, I don't know, like, doesn't matter what the ratio
and some off market are really good because the vendor has tested the market. It did not sell at the expectation, and they have come back to a more realistic expectation. They know that there are no buyers out there who will buy this crap, so they are at a more willing point to sell that deal. So there's nothing off market, on market.
Would you buy sunken houses that require very costly underpinning? Is it at the right price?
I have done underpinning and it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the termite thing. Like if you're buying at the right at the price that stacks up, then great. But
nice.
Jeff, do you need to go back to Greg's? Sorry, I interrupted before. Greg's comment message.
Oh, Greg's hitting you up. Is he private?
Oh no. I've just got that on my second screen. You had something up and I interrupted you, and we've moved on.
Yeah. So he said, do you find deals stacking up at lower price entry points? What is a low entry point? I'll ask Greg. And Greg and I have so much banter going back and forth. So I'm sort of giving a bit of ribbing here, but I'll let you answer that, Kush, and Mike as well, because you're doing deals at different price, some different price points. What do you think about that, guys?
I'm sure there are. I'm just not looking at them actively at the moment, but if not in Brisbane, probably it's in Warwick or I don't know, it's in Gympie or somewhere. I'm pretty sure there are.
In Werribee, in Wangaratta, in Waikara, maybe. I mean, we just all the Warragamba. There's probably some deals out there too. I mean, maybe not Warragamba because there's not many. I mean, these days, but Wallachia. I'm just throwing all W names out there. Warrnambool, maybe not Warrnambool.
No, you can't get a deal there.
Oh yeah, have you looked, Kush?
Not recently, but
okay.
Yeah.
No.
So you guys are naming suburbs I've never ever heard of before. It's like, it's not gonna make me money. I don't care. Yeah.
No. I mean, I just know. I just like to look up random places, but I think the key thing I'm taking away, and you pointed out multiple times as well, Michael, is that there's no absolute right or wrong way to invest here. I mean, yes, there's probably things that are going to get you in I've sort of had to suspend some of my disbelief or some of my beliefs around the flood zone. And yes, I would say probably for the investor not going in and doing the amount of extensive research that you're doing, I think, yes, if you're doing you might still need to be a little bit careful. Don't just go and buy the first flood zone property you're seeing, because
absolutely not.
Yeah. Kush has done the 10,000 hours to understand what he's doing, because otherwise you might blow yourself up. But no, I think you probably think the same way as well, Michael. It's like, well, there's a deal out there that matches your brief, doesn't have, at whatever price point it sort of looks at.
Yeah, definitely. I think that just what Kush is, this whole, I think, like, can be condensed into buying the opportunity. I think that when we start limiting ourselves to metrics like price points, ratios, how to source, properties, and all that kind of stuff, all of that's irrelevant. Is it a good deal or is it not? And you work backwards from there rather than going from A to Z. I think it's all about the opportunity, irrespective of what your strategy is. If there's no money in it, I mean, I really align with you, Kush, when you said it's all uplift. You're just buying at land value. So how can you lose when you're buying something at land value? Like, you can't lose. If the house is termite ridden or needed stumping or whatever it was, it's all irrelevant, right? It's all cherry on top. Just how much you're going to make.
Yeah, and how long it's going to take you, and how much it's going to cost you as well, to understand that once it gets, it's the FISO, it's the deal. Does the deal stack? If the deal doesn't stack, there's one down the road that potentially will. And I think this is. Oh, sorry, you go, Mike.
Oh, I was just going to say, maybe, like, as you were saying, Jeff, about the FISO, maybe what people should be focusing on is knowing price points. Because how do you know something's an opportunity if you don't really know what is the range of an acceptable price? Like, this is generally how much. If you don't know that, then how will you even be able to identify a strategy? Opportunity. You can't.
And that will flow on. That'll be applicable to even somebody who's doing the classic buy and hold approach, or buy and hope, whatever you want to call it. Buy and hold, same but different. No, I mean. Yeah. I mean, look, you can make good money from buying it and the market listing it, but if you don't understand that what you should be paying for that deal, and actually understanding what's going on, like if the market's moving 3% a month and you're trying to buy something and the price is now at 550, you're trying to buy something for 500, you're just going to get probably laughed out of town. So you need to say, or you need to think, okay, well, if I can't buy the average deal of that suburb, if I need to buy at 450, then I need to compromise on something else. And it's probably going to be the condition of the property or something.
The building repairs, subject to finance, whatever, all the stuff that doesn't matter if it's 30, 40% below market. Does it really matter if you don't get subject to finance or whatever? It's irrelevant.
I mean, it probably does. As a broker in the room, don't go out. Like, at least have your numbers assessed. Don't go out to a property tomorrow without knowing what you can afford. If you see a great deal at 300K, 30% below market value, that's great. But if you can get a loan for 20,000, then you can't fund it, and you're going to get yourself in a bit of trouble. But anyway,
I'm going to say something that, Jeff, you're not going to be happy about, right? But I know you're not going to be happy because it's just went against what you just said. But I have bought property where I didn't know how I was going to finance it.
Yeah,
but
you're not the average guy, though, Michael.
It was 600 grand below market. Do you know what I mean? Like 600 grand below market. I will go and I'll get off the phone. If I secured that deal, I will call every relative, long lost second, third, fourth cousin and borrow the money from someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll find a way to make it happen, because how many times does a 600 below market, land on your desk? Once a year, once every 2 years. So absolutely. Make it happen.
Once every 2 days, mate. Jeez, guys. Yeah, once every 2 days. No, but to play the other side of the fence of what I just said, I think if you find the deal, the money will show up. If you can present the deal in the way that, if it is actually such an amazing deal, you should be able to find the money. It's just then how you then sort of the terms that you're entering into that thing, if you don't have the traditional financing space. So there are of course ways. I'm just thinking about the first time investor. Rebecca, I love she's just been sharing some absolute. I did ask you to come on a live, and sorry to call you out, Rebecca, but I think you at some stage, maybe next year, once you're ready, I want to get you on a show, because I think you'll be a great session. But I think a key thing Kush hasn't fully shared that I read into his great slide is knowing and respecting the roles of each person in the team, paying people well, for example. How do you think about that, Kush?
Actually, gratitude is something that you really need to practice and show. I always treat all the people that works in the team with a very clear message that I'm not here to rob you. I'm not here to, bargain for this thing. You need to make money. I need to make money so that we both stay in the business. So let's make something where you and I both make money. Otherwise, one is going out of the business.
I like that last
Mate,
line.
You need to start a podcast, man. You need to start like one of these, like I like you're like you need. Yeah, I listen to it. I'm like, it's like mic drop moment every 5 minutes. Once we let you get a word in. Sorry, Kush, and we'll probably one or two more questions, and I want to ask you what we should have covered because maybe that's content for round 2. Kush, how do you work out in this the renovation scope and costs without doing building and pest inspection to find out the structural integrity of the home to immerse the deal project is feasible? And they've gone on to say, what have they said? Is termite damage and subsidence, i.e. reno can't be done until restumping underpinning is done, and underpinning is very expensive, which could blow out the reno cost. I'm hyperventilating reading this comment. So I just say, I think you're massively, there's analysis paralysis in there. Yes, that could all happen. Throw it in feasibility. If worst case happens, does the deal still make money? Can you buy it at land price? Is that what you'd say, Kush?
Yeah, also look, I don't get it always right? So say for asbestos. So most of the thing that has been asked in that question, I can do it by a visual inspection. I know what are the things that needs to be changed. If it's underpinning, I know the rough cost of that. But one thing I can't predict, and even today I'm not an expert at it, is asbestos. I don't know what sort of asbestos I will find. It is friable, it is non-friable, how much it is going to cost. But when the deals that I'm buying, I mean, like, when I sell it, whether I make 150 or 200 or 250K, there is, I mean, too bad if I made 150K, but it's still money.
I think that it's important to make sure that your team doesn't lose money. And I've had some run-ins of asbestos, way more than we expected. Like, oh shit, we thought it was just a little bit, and it turned out to be like, I don't know, 40% of the house was property was asbestos.
Was that the Moree? Was that the Moree deal, or was that another one?
No, well, that was a friable asbestos. No, this was a Brisbane deal. We bought this. I don't know what it was. Is a church, a hall, train station. That's what some people were saying. And there was just way more asbestos than we thought. And I actually got this organized through my builder, and he came back to me and said, "Look, we're gonna have to charge a variation because it's significantly more than what we expected." And I'm like, that's fine, because at the end of the day, I can't have my guys lose money helping me on my project because they won't be my guys the next time round. They're not going to pick up my phone call, right? So as you were saying, Kush, like, you can't have anyone lose money. It's not a, like a zero net sum kind of scenario. You need to make sure
zero sum game. Yeah.
Zero sum game.
Dog kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. It's important. Yeah. If you want to scale anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you might do that once or twice, but you do it more than once or twice, and you'll just get a bad rep. Not only amongst, like, in the tradies in that particular area, they'll just be like, oh yeah, there's a guy going around, or guy or girl, person going around doing this thing, and they're just sort of nickel and dime.
Gets around.
Yeah, it's the same in most industries as well. Kush, what are the questions that we should have, or what are one or two questions or aspects that we should have covered that we didn't? And then we'll sort of wrap it up, because I want to know for round 2 when we get you on.
I really don't know what we should have covered. I thought this was an entertaining session, and a lot of people had a lot of ideas about flooded properties. Probably they know that there's money out there.
Yeah.
I think you've disproved that. Yeah.
I mean, I'd still, I mean, if you're the average first deal, maybe just be a little bit cautious and be conservative. So it's the risk manager in me. But speak to this slide. What's next? So to your right, and also cash flow. Since Woolies doesn't get, tell us about this.
Yeah, so the one on the right is coming on market this week. So that was a termite infested property. I don't know if you can zoom in on the before photo, but that was the before photo. And down below.
How much did that cost? Kush, to
So
get to that level?
I bought it for 635. I think resale should be anywhere between 1.3 to 1.4 because it's on a busy road.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what it costs to get it to like the reno costs and the termite remedial?
I think 350, 360.
Significant.
You take stuff on, and I suppose you built up to this. You probably, I mean, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Like your first couple of deals, were you doing anything this significant, or you were doing something a little bit?
No,
more?
the first deals that I put there was all very internal, nothing like this. So yeah, I mean the latest deal, the renovation cost alone is the sale price of the first property. So.
And I love that perspective, because like a lot of people, they look at what Michael has done, what most people have come on the show have done, and they just say, oh, I've only bought one property or whatever it is. I would just say you're actually doing fantastic for whichever scenario that you're at and where you're into, and just keep on clicking. As it's like a crypto stage, like just this deal you might have made $200 or $2,000 or $200,000, whichever it is. The next deal, you'll take so many lessons, and that's what I took away from your life as well, Michael. It's like, what did I learn? What can I improve upon? I'll impart that into the next deal, and making sure you're still sort of keeping the shirt as well. Because if you're risking the farm, then probably please don't do the deal. Please reconsider. If it's a coin flip as to whether you make money or not, or lose a lot of money, maybe just walk on to the next deal down the road that's more in the wheelhouse at this stage.
Yeah, because I think that, Jeff, you're going to be really sad if 6 months from now someone posts about how they watched this podcast and they bought a flooded block. They lost money. You're going to hate it so much. Yeah. You're responsible for your own decisions, obviously, and a deal like this is not for everyone. Not everyone is, sees the opportunity that Kush does and build a team that he did so quickly. I mean, I think building that team is amazing. That you've done it in 2 years. Good on you. Because I was lucky. Personally, I was lucky. I just happened to find the right builder the first time round, and I've only built with one builder this whole time. But I'm sure that you had to go through quite a few kind of steps before you identified and connected with your current builder.
And I just want to shout out to you as well, Kush. Well done, man. Like you're an absolute. You've done the hard yards, and you're reaping the rewards. And good on you, man. And hope you keep on going. I'll see you Friday as well. But what I was going to say, I'll see you both Friday. What's the best way for people to, if they want more Kush in their life, or Kushal? I like Kush better, but Kushal is your full name. But if you want to chat to Kush, what's the best way, mate? You don't have a reno course. There's nothing you're selling. But what's the best way people can interact with you if they want to?
Just come to Cheers Bar on a Friday night, and you'll find me there.
Not every Friday night.
Not every Friday.
What is regular? He does go there for a reason. He doesn't just go. Yeah, but I would say Australian real estate meetups this Friday afternoon. I'll be heading up as well. Mike will be there. Ricky Steamboat. There's Mel Poole. There's Joe Natoli. There is an absolute host. It's going to be a great session. I'm looking forward to it. And but no, thanks for coming on, Kush. Mate, you've shared your journey. And thank you as well, Michael, for co-hosting. Mate, you've been the co-hostess with the mostess. That didn't go as well as I thought. But no, I appreciate that everybody tuning along, the interaction, engagement, and it's really inspirational to get these people on. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And as Joe says, let's go and buy a property, or let's go and renovate.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. See you guys. See you
Thanks,
Friday,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.